Oh, yeah. New at 6, a Carver couple recounts a frightening ordeal when 2 gunmen barged into their home in a home invasion robbery. Plus, we take you inside Float Central, where artists are working furiously to complete their work for the Grand Floral Parade. A look at their creations tonight at 6.
The World Cup's officially underway. It only comes around every 4 years, but not everyone's caught the fever. A few loyal soccer fans showed up today at the St. John's Community Center, which is showing all 64 games on a big screen with play-by-play in Spanish. This was Germany versus Costa Rica. Germany won. By the way, the Matt Dishman Community Center's showing the games in English. Up in Seattle, hundreds of people lined up early this morning to get into a pub that was showing the first game. GQ magazine recently rated the George and Dragon Pub one of the 10 best bars in the country for soccer. It will be open for each of the World Cup 64 matches. The owner's even putting a 65-inch screen in the parking lot for the overflow.
You know, a lot of people here in Portland will certainly be watching that. Nightly news straight ahead with a story on the sale of the Martin Luther King Jr. papers that reveal personal information about the slain civil rights leader.
Plus, meet a child prodigy who goes to school not to learn, but to teach. And in doing so, she's making a difference.
That much more next on NBC Nightly News, and we'll see you back here at 6 o'clock.
Tom Cameron crazy.
Brett Huntley, David Brent, John Chen, Tom Brokaw.
Last moments, new details on Abu Musab al-Zarqawi's death. How did he survive the initial bombing strikes and even try to get away? Boots on the ground, no U.S. drawdown in the cards. The president says Iraqis are still not sure when they'll be able to take over their own security. Going, gone. Why historians are so concerned that an auction of Dr. Martin Luther King's papers will end up scattering them to the winds. And making a difference. She's only 8, but already she's inspiring others with her joy of reading and writing.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams. Substituting tonight, Campbell Brown.
Good evening. Abu Musab al-Zarqawi was alive, at least for a few moments after airstrikes pounded his safe house. And today, U.S. military officials said he even made what seemed to be a feeble attempt to escape as American forces carried him away on a stretcher. The most wanted man in Iraq died a short time later, finally ending a long and frustrating manhunt. While President Bush today applauded Zarqawi's demise, he also had some sober words about what this means for Iraq's future and for U.S. forces there. We have several reports tonight, beginning with Jim Miklashevsky, who has the latest details now from the Pentagon. Jim?
Campbell, initial reports had indicated that Abu Musab al-Zarqawi was killed instantly in that U.S. airstrike. But U.S. military officials were left scrambling today to explain that wasn't the case. In the airstrike aimed at Zarqawi, 2 500-pound bombs leveled this safe house. But somehow, Zarqawi initially managed to survive. In fact, for the first time today, the U.S. military revealed Zarqawi may have even tried to escape.
Zarqawi attempted to sort of turn away off the stretcher. Everybody resecured him back onto the stretcher, but he died almost immediately thereafter from the wounds he had received from this airstrike.
Near death, Zarqawi also attempted to speak.
He mumbled a little something, but it was indistinguishable, and it was very short.
But how could anyone have survived such a devastating blast? Military officials say it's possible Zarqawi was shielded by a wall or even outside the safe house.
There are cases when people, in fact, can survive even an attack like that on a building structure.
It was also revealed today that military commanders were so concerned Zarqawi might escape. The airstrike was ordered in such a rush that only one F-16 made it to the target. The other was left still taking on fuel from a tanker. There are also new details today about how the U.S. military found Zarqawi. Military officials tell NBC News U.S. Special Operations Forces captured an al-Qaeda courier in Yusufia in April. The courier identified Zarqawi's spiritual advisor Abu al-Rahman, who eventually led U.S. forces to Zarqawi. At the same time, U.S. government officials, present and former, tell NBC News there was never any thought of taking Zarqawi alive. According to one official, the goal was to cut off the head of al-Qaeda in Iraq by killing Zarqawi.
In the case of Zarqawi's network, when you eliminate him, the people underneath him are not as talented, not as capable, so this may set back the organization's capability.
But there was another reason. U.S. officials tell NBC News that U.S. Special Forces commandos had come close to getting Zarqawi at least 10 times in the past year. And they decided the next time they had him in their sights, they'd take the shot. Campbell?
Jim Miklashevsky at the Pentagon for us tonight. Now to Baghdad, where NBC's Richard Engel has gathered some new information about Zarqawi's last days and how the military was finally able to pinpoint his location. Richard?
Good evening, Campbell. The village where Zarqawi was killed remains dangerous. Today, our Iraqi cameraman tried to visit the area and talk to witnesses. He was chased out. He was told that if he took any pictures, al-Zarqawi's supporters there would kill him.
Iraq today braced for revenge from Zarqawi.